Hey listeners, my name's James.
And I'm Tim.
We're your hosts. You're listening to The Waiver Wire. Welcome back, guys. We're here for the 5th instalment of your favourite fantasy basketball podcast, The Waiver Wire. I'm joined as always by James, my co-host.
Hey guys.
So today we're changing it up. So we did say we're the kings of fantasy, and we are the kings of fantasy basketball. So today we're talking about your daily fantasy lineups, so your cash games and all that. They've recently, just probably the last season actually, they've taken off. They've become such a big thing now. And so me and James are obviously massive fans. We use Draft Stars because we're Australian. So Draft Stars is our version of your DraftKings and whatever, FanDuel, whatever they have over in the States. So we'll be quoting prices and talking strategy, which you can carry over to your games. And yeah, let's get to it, James.
Yeah, well, so first of all, just going to go through a little bit of the strategies we have here. So with player pricing, because you're capped at, in DraftKings, you're capped at 50k for most of them, and Draft Stars it's
100.
100?
Yeah, 100k
it adds
salary.
up to 100 points salary. Yeah, 100k salary. Points are the same, but pretty similar. They're a little bit different.
So it's just the salary's halved, effectively.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's like pretty much halved.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Pretty much what we're talking about in terms, you just halve it and you've got your DraftKings scoring. So it's the same sort of idea.
Just think of it as a currency conversion.
Yeah, US dollars to Australian dollars by a load less with Australian dollars.
Yeah.
You need to try and get good options for a very cheap price. That's the kind of the key to what you're doing here. Because if you can get some players for maybe they're 5,000 actually in Draft Stars, and they can maybe play 20 minutes or something, you can get 20 minutes of production out of them. It saves you a lot of cash. So if you want to look at your Stephen Currys and your Kyrie Irvings who are up that top end bracket in the 18,000s, so you can get their peak scoring, because you're never going to win by getting the best players at all the positions and then just filling it up with people who might play 5 minutes if they're lucky.
Yeah. So what we're trying to say is you want to get star players, but there's so many other options out there. So think about it this way: it's not like a typical fantasy here where you think, I want a star player because they're going to perform every single week. You don't care if they perform every week because you just want them for that game, for that day. So it's all about matchups. It's all about who's good against that what team, who's at home. First of all, we'll talk about Steph Curry here because he's just an example, because he's the first person that comes up when you got, because you've got,
He's probably the most picked person.
yeah, probably. But here, so you've got, is it the same on DraftKings? Do you know?
No, I wouldn't know actually.
So this is our Wednesday contest here. So opening night, so Tuesday for you guys.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday night, yeah?
Yeah, Tuesday night.
So you've got 2 point guards, 2 shooting guards, 2 small forwards, 2 power forwards, and a center. So that's just your normal salary-based competition. So you have to pick 2 point guards, 2 shooting guards, 2 small forwards, 2 power forwards, and a center. So people have like dual position, like power forwards and center forwards, small forwards, power forwards, point guards, shooting guards, that sort of stuff. And yeah, we'll just go through Steph Curry. So he's the most expensive player, I think, at the moment. No, the king, LeBron James. Don't mind the king.
The king is the most expensive.
Yeah, the king is the most,
for a reason.
Yeah, for a very good reason. But so Steph Curry here on Draft Stars, it tells you can click on View Full Stats and you can view their whole game log from last season. So every single game they played, how many points they scored, like points, assists, and rebounds, because that's the main sort of thing that you're getting points for in fantasy, and that's what you're looking to get. So it also tells you like who they versed, the date, and it gives you some player news here on the side and their average stats, all that stuff. You want to be able to buy someone who gives you good value for money. So someone like there's no point in buying a 5,000 player and then Steph Curry, who's worth, so that's like a 23,000, for two players at point guard, One of them's not going to get any points, and Steph Curry has a shit game, and you get 35 points.
So you're finished, yeah. In terms, you got to think about it as your two positions, spreading your money across the two places and trying to get like the most point outcomes. So someone like Damian Lillard, who last season he did average 10 points less, but he'll save you about 3K. And that's something like that may make the difference between, say, your second point guard being Tony Parker or Brandon Jennings, between Quartermain from Portland, who is absolutely no chance of even playing 1 second.
Yeah, won't get a minute.
So you got to try and think about it like that, and trying to save your kind of money and spread it across evenly for the most points together, rather than having the player who will score the most points.
Yeah.
Because you also have to think about trying to diversify your team. You need to try and get it a little bit different to everyone else. Like, there's no point having the same team, the most popular selection of players, because you live and die by them, really, and everyone ends up on the same score, and you'll, in the end,
you won't make any money.
Yeah, you won't make any money, or you get a lower payout. So there's all the kind of things you need to think of when you're setting your lineup. But that's before you even get towards the thinking about how they play at home, how they play against this opponent. Are they injured? Are they carrying? Is this likely to be... One of the things people don't really think about is, they'll smash them.
Yeah.
If Golden State, say, it probably won't happen, but say Golden State smashes San Antonio, Steph Curry's not playing the fourth quarter.
No way.
So there's no point forking out 18.7 for a person who's going to play 25 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah.
You got to think about these things. But then that also brings up another opportunity there. If you think there's going to be a blowout, maybe you'll
Sean Livingston.
Yeah.
May slide. He's worth 5K. See, and that's in the situation where you could do Steph Curry and Livingston, because either way you're splashing your points. So then that means you'll always have one of them on the court, and I mean it may save you. It depends how it goes. You could have picked someone who would have played like a full game, and it could save you in that sense. But it also means that if Livingston were to play 0, you're in a lot of trouble there. But you just have to think about it. This fantasy just opens up a whole new sort of thing. Like, you need to get incredibly lucky on the day to win. All right, so me and James made our lineup, and we're just gonna talk you through why. This is our best Wednesday lineup. Yeah, so for your opening night, starting PG, we got Dame, Dollar, Lillard. Now, I'm a big fan of Dame. If you haven't realised already, I've got him in my other fantasy. I've got him in like all 3 of my fantasy drafts. So, yeah, love Dame Dollar. He's 15K, so probably what was he, like the third most expensive point guard? Yeah,
right, it's worth it. But he'll want to put on a show in Portland's first game at home. So, big show of strength from Dame, and just the savings on Curry were too much to ignore. Even though Curry is the biggest scoring point guard, as we explained before, we tried to spread the money out a bit. So we got Dame, and then they gave us enough money for Brandon Jennings, so he can catch some bodies there. Our second backup point guard position. So he's only 8,900 in your draft stars, but expect a much bigger role than he had at Detroit down in New York. And
because you don't know how Derrick Rose is going to play yet. We don't know how they're going to get rotated. Hornacek likes to play 2 point guards. We saw that at Phoenix. So there could be a lineup where BJ and Derrick Rose get rolled out together. So we just know that means minutes for BJ, and minutes for BJ means points for you. So 8,900 for a reserve point guard.
And he's been playing absolutely brilliantly in the preseason as well.
Yeah, and then so our next pick, moving on to the shooting guards here. We went for the old boy, Joe Johnson, because with Gordon Hayward injured and out to start the season, we were told, I was told that Joe Johnson will be the starting small forward.
Inside sources have given us a little tip here for fantasy, so if you listen to this, jump on Joe Johnson, 8,700, and he'll be starting for Utah, and that's big value, I reckon, there.
He'll play 31 minutes, and that means what? If he can get...
Maybe not 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, he was playing 30 minutes for Brooklyn, so...
Not Brooklyn, you mean Miami.
He was at Brooklyn towards the end of the season, wasn't he? Oh, no, yeah, he did go to Miami. Oh, yeah, I forgot. He did 2 game winners against Denver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, well, 8,900. That's cheap as chips. Absolutely cheap as chips. So what's that? In half price, that's 4.5 in your draft kings. Value, absolute value.
And then we move on to the gunner, J.R. Smith. Fresh ink deal. Fresh ink. Probably got some new tats to commemorate this.
How long was his deal? 4 years.
I think so. Yeah, 4 years. He held out, and then he's going to want to put on a show. He's probably going to want to go on a show that Cleveland didn't make a mistake paying him that money, and against New York, not exactly renowned as the greatest defensive team,
and his old team as well.
Look for JR to put up big numbers, I reckon.
The only problem here is JR is one of those players that he's going to go either way.
He's hot or cold.
So me and James did these draft style lineups during the playoffs, and during the playoffs it was only a one game for a day. So the free contest was just you had to pick from either Cleveland and Golden State, and I think there was 3 times where JR may have got under 10 points.
But then he was the top scoring player in 2 of the other games.
Yeah, so he's either going to get like 50 odd, or he's going to get. I think he got neg 1.5.
Yeah, he did in one of the games.
He got like 6 turnovers and he just got fouled out. He just causes trouble.
But he's one of those players. That's what daily fantasy is all about. You got to take the risk and try and hope that everything goes right, because you're not aiming to come. Some of you may be aiming to play it safe and finish maybe in the top 10, secure that low prize pool. But here at the waiver wire, we always aim for first, and we're aiming for that $32 for first place.
Yeah, so this contest that we're just looking at right now is the $2 entry one. So there's 116 players, and it pays out $2.50 if you come 25th. So you make 50 cents if you come 25th.
So
we're not aiming for 25th. We don't want to make 50 cents profit. I mean, look, we'll be happy with 50 cents profit, but if we don't come top 10, it'll be a failure for us here at the waiver wire. So that's $5 minimum. That's what we're aiming for. You want to double your money if you can. Well, you want to get money back.
You just want to get money back.
Make profit is good, but yeah. So we're aiming for first here. So if everything goes right for us here today, we'll be loving it.
And because we're aiming for first team, that's why we've gone with the king.
You can't go past the king. He's the king of fantasy. He's the king of daily fantasy. If you go onto his his player overview and look at him just absolutely dominate in the final. He was getting, what was it getting, James? What do those numbers say for me? Do you want to read them out for everyone?
84.25, 82.75, 65.5, 61.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
The King's not going to want to make a mistake at home on opening night, Tim. I can tell you that.
The man lifts. He is just an absolute machine. He's triple-double watch every night he goes out there. And triple-double watch for you means 60-plus points, and 60-plus points is a lot of points. So he's going to be a big bump. Now,
don't expect the 80 points that he was putting up in the finals, because he was playing 40.
Because he steps up in the finals, but that's different. But yeah, well,
you can still expect 50 points from him.
Yeah, you can. I reckon.
I'd lock him in for 50 points, to be honest.
This one, look, me and James argued about this one massively, but hey, go on, James, explain it.
Kyle Anderson and small forward with Danny Green injured. Kyle Anderson played pretty well during the preseason. He started a few games, I think. But
you think? I want no, James. I don't want think.
Pop's got to go with youth here over. I reckon Anderson will start over Ginobili. Maybe he'll play 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But at 8,400, that's a bit of a risk I'm willing to take. So to free up some cash for some players like the King, we can afford players like him because we have Kyle Anderson. I reckon maybe he'll play 20 minutes. If you can get 15 points, I'd be happy with that for 8,400.
Yeah, because because there's only 3 games, the player pool isn't as deep as we would have liked. So you don't have some of that depth at like the 10,000 to the 12,000 or the 6,000 to the full 5,000 in your draft kings. So yeah, so we just decided that we could use the king and then get a cheaper player there, and James decided that would be Kyle Anderson. Let's hope it all turns out for us on the bright side. If it does turn out, James can be the hero. If not, he's the villain. So
hey, you have to listen to me. You know I'm on a fantasy basketball podcast.
Shut up. Alright, the next one. The Chieftain, they call him in Portland, Al-Farouq Aminu. He had a rip-up preseason. Did you know in practice one day he hit 19 threes in a row?
Is that all?
What do you mean is that all? You hit 19 threes in a row. You hit 1 3 from an NBA range.
Well, yeah, Al-Farouk. Solid choice for the
He's
Portland
cheap.
power forward. He's cheap.
He's on the cheap.
8,400.
Look at that. Look at his games against Golden State as well. 42.75, 43, and 35 at 8,400.
He'll be playing.
Sold.
He'll be playing
Sold.
just over 30 minutes, and I think his value 8,400. Rebounds, points won't really get you the assists, but it's also not something you can really tend to get from your power forward.
Yeah, but there's only one little problem here. I don't know who's starting yet for Portland.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think Terry Stotts has decided yet, and he definitely hasn't told anyone yet. But it could be Maurice Harkless. But at the moment, we're going with Al-Farouk Amino because he scored 19 threes in a row in practice. So for me, that's good enough.
You get extra bonus points when you hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah, you get 4 points, not just 3. You get 4.
So the power forward spot, that's a big help. If you're getting extra points because you're shooting threes rather than taking 2-foot jumpers, it's value in daily fantasy. 1 point could be the difference between. We've seen this before. In 1 point could be the difference between you coming 50th and 5th. It's a rough sport, daily fantasy.
If you say that's how the cookie crumbles.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, thank God for that.
That's how the fantasy cookie crumbles.
Just shut up, James. See, the other thing as well that I've been saying that he's hit 19 threes in a row. You lose 0.25 points for every field goal you miss. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs not missing field goals, so you don't lose them points. So efficiency is also something you have to look big for. So you get more points for assists than a point, but they're less often. So
yeah,
it's all about the 3-pointers, to be honest.
3-pointers are the biggest.
You want someone who can shoot threes. I think, look, everyone in our team here can shoot threes.
3-point threat, except maybe LeBron.
Yeah, apart from the King. But the King does everything else, so that doesn't matter. And then my boy here, I'm a big fan of LaMarcus Aldridge. He's with Timmy Duncan gone, with they're going to be going through him like that. They're going to be going through him.
It's been well stated that Golden State their weakness may be the big tall forwards.
Yeah, I can tell you, Nurkic and Jokic took it to them.
So LaMarcus Aldridge, I feel, could be posting up Draymond Green
He's
early,
bullying him, absolutely bullying him.
But he'll be a big threat on the boards.
Yeah.
He will be incredibly important. Pau Gasol, but it's going to be Pau Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge against maybe Zaza Pachulia and Draymond.
Yuck.
So Kevin Durant's pretty good on the boards, but still, LaMarcus is going to be a monster inside, and they're going to go to him offensively a lot, and that means more fantasy points for you. Don't worry about the talk about him not being happy in San Antonio in the system. Look for him to make a big impact on opening day against the undersized Golden State Warriors.
Now, the last one. So our last center position, you only get one center position. And we didn't like the look of the points that anyone else was putting out there. So we went on the cheap. We went so cheap that for DraftKings people it would be 3,000. Now, Ed Davis. I like him. I like him a lot. I had him last year in my fantasy. He's a bit of an enigma. He does look. Some nights he's going to come on and just put double. Like he's got a couple of double doubles. Other nights he comes on, gets about 7 rebounds, 1 point, misses about 6 field goals, gets about 5,000, and just
he's been playing well in preseason.
Causes a lot of trouble. Yeah, he has. He's been putting up like 6 or 7 points, 7 or 8 rebounds, and that's handy, especially for 6,300. If he can get 20 points, look at that. 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's 22 fantasy points in 23 minutes. That's all I'm asking.
I'd be stoked if we get a production of 22 from our $6,300 center.
Fantastic.
But think about all the money we saved there, because you're looking at Kevin Love, who's an extra $7,000. Maybe produce an extra 10 points. Not worth it in my books.
No, absolutely not.
I'd rather save that money for the King.
Yeah. Well, we splashed on the King. But that's alright.
So yeah, that's our fantasy lineup for Wednesday.
Yeah, there's just one more thing I wanted to say. There's a lot of absolute value in some of these things. So, Draymond Green, I mean, look, we're not big. We've said this many a time. We're not big fans of him. He's going for 13K. Now that's 1K cheaper than LaMarcus Aldridge. He's even cheaper than Kristaps Porzingis. That's how cheap he is at the moment. I don't know why he's that cheap. Maybe DraftStars, DraftKings know something that we don't. I haven't heard anything, but his production could be decreased by Kevin Durant. We still don't know whose production is going to be decreased by Durant's, because someone's is going to get decreased. They're not going to score 140 points every game, and all those rebounds have to be split among someone else, because Harrison Barnes did nothing, so he literally had no input on that team half the time. I know, because I had him in my draft stars about 6 times. He got about 10 points. So, but Draymond is really cheap. If you're looking for a bargain, hit up Draymond Green. He's looking real nice.
But yeah, Tim, who's our... Draymond Green's our little cheap option there, but who's our pick of the night? Who do we reckon is the must-have player?
The King, obviously.
The King. I'd have to agree with you there. The King is a must-have.
He's not going to have a home game. Are they at home? Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
He's not going to have a home game just after he won a title.
Against the Knicks.
Against the Knicks. Yeah, and he's not... If he doesn't put on a show, everyone will be disappointed, and he's not going to disappoint. The King does not disappoint.
He's been known for being pretty lackadaisical in the regular season, Tim, but...
It's opening night. You don't get lackadaisical.
Exactly, Tim. That's the beauty of daily fantasy. You just think about the one game and there's no commitment to the rest of the season.
If it was normal fantasy, I think I'd skip on LeBron at such a high price.
Yeah.
But because it's just one day, I'm prepared to have the King. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Look, I'm probably during the regular season, as we move later into the regular season, I might skip on him.
Yeah, I'd move away from LeBron.
But just because it's opening night, you have to have him. You have to have the King.
Well, yeah, that wraps up our first edition of our daily fantasy.
Yeah, it's only bite-sized, this one. We're just going to do a couple of these. Doesn't interfere with the regular podcast. We'll have a normal podcast. We don't know what day. We haven't really decided what day we can have it on yet.
We're trying to organise some guests for you guys.
And, this is just like a little one, so we might end up doing 2 a week, with one like daily fantasy one, maybe even 2, depending on how small they are. If there's a big day, like on the bigger days, like where there's 12 or 13 games, we'll definitely bring you a daily fantasy update. And if you have any questions for us, please feel free to hit us up at the Waiver Wire 1 or on Twitter. We're happy to reply to any questions and anything you might want to ask us.
Any of your daily fantasy needs, and if your fantasy needs, your daily fantasy needs, anything fantasy, you got it. Just not your own fantasies. Don't come to us with them.
If you want to see our teams for the next day, the second day of the season, so our Thursday, your Wednesday, we're going to be doing them too. We just don't have time to put this in this podcast.
We probably screenshot them and we'll put them up on our Twitter page at the Waiver Wire 1.
Yeah, so if you want to compete with us, join Draft Stars. They have great offers over at Draft Stars. They're really, really good deals, some really good games. There's like free games, there's games you put money in. Me and James tend to, like, if you want to make the real money, you need to go to the
$10 at least.
Yeah, you need to go to the money games. But if you want to start small, just want to have a bit of fun and try and earn some little cash and then build it up, feel free to enter the free games.
Just before we end, Tim, I'd like to congratulate you on being drafted pick number 49
yeah.
in the inaugural NBA Twitter Draft 2016. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. We're having that's a new thing. So Adam, if anyone saw, Adam Joseph did his NBA Twitter draft, and somehow, I don't know, someone must have voted for us, obviously. But me and James and the Waiver Wire all got grouped into one, and we ended up going pick 49 out of the top 100. So it's a big honour for us.
Thanks to everyone who voted for us. We appreciate it.
We got a lot of things happening here at the Waiver Wire behind the scenes.
We got some things up and coming for you guys to enjoy. Don't you worry. We'll keep you guys sorted ahead of the season.
Yeah.
So, Tim,
thanks for coming on, James.
I'm always here, Tim. You're always here. But basketball's not always here, but it will be soon.
It's back. Enjoy the regular season, everyone. Enjoy your first day of fantasy. Don't forget to set your lineups. Don't forget to do your daily fantasy lineups.
Don't forget if the person you're versing is James Harden. No, you really shouldn't. You don't have to worry about your lineup that week. Good luck, everyone.
Enjoy.